time zone. Hi Prasad.
Hi, it's good to be here.
Absolutely. So, what do we have?
I was just reading very recently, I read about this an interesting concept called the butterfly effect. Do you know about it?
Butterfly effect.
So in effect, what it states is a butterfly has to flap its wings in one corner of the Pacific Ocean, and and then there's a kind of a cascading effect which causes a typhoon on the other side of the world in the Atlantic.
Wow.
So in other words, a seemingly small project or a event can lead to something which has a long-lasting impact on a larger scheme of things. And I was trying to kind of put that in context with our everyday work life. And I'm sure we could think of many such projects, we've been involved in, which might have seemed very inconsequential or small at first, but has had a deep or a long-lasting impact or a deep-reaching impact across the organization.
Absolutely. In fact, this takes me back in time to one of my previous jobs, in which although I was given ad hoc tasks, but my role was more of a project manager. Although not on papers, but still. One of the projects which I remember was, we had to create, we used to get requests for invoices. Now, when I started off, our internal client, they would send requests for an invoice for a specific account. The issue was, or rather the challenges were, number one, they did not know whom to send a request to. Number two, they did not have the right contacts.
So they were not sending this electronically?
They were sending it by email, but then one person knew one person, they would send a request to him or her. Another person, so person B would send a request to person C, person D would send it to, so it was so distributed, and whereas each of these people, they were in the same team once upon a time, currently they were scattered across different departments.
Wow. Okay.
So there literally was chaos.
Right.
Okay. So then, the first thing which I had to do was, identify the people to whom these requests were coming, and I had to route all the requests to me. Then I saw a pattern in these requests. So all I did was, and at that time to fulfill them, one person had one format, he would prepare an invoice and send it out. Another person, another format.
Right.
So essentially, although the requests were being serviced, but it was not standard.
Got it.
So all I did was, first I routed the request to me. Second thing what I did was, I put my head down, I understood what the request was, the meaning of the invoice, what it is used for, and why they wanted it. And once I had all of these answers in place, I then said that instead of servicing individual invoices on a reactive basis, why not do it on a proactive basis? What it meant was, all the accounts that we would service, we would anyways be sending a bulk invoice. So at the same time, I started generating individual invoices also, and instead of sending it out, I just put it in a central repository.
Okay.
And when I started doing that, and then whenever I would get the request to me, I stopped sending the attachments. Rather, I told them, look in the repository. If it's not there, then come back to it.
Okay.
It works so well. This greatly cut down the number of email requests. It cut down the turnaround time. It cut down the servicing time effectively. Even for them, even they had their tact.
Right.
So, and since they were directly dealing with their stakeholders, whoever the stakeholders were, it was a huge reduction in tact. Earlier, they had to factor in. If they had to give 3 working days, so that means it was a crunch for us to service a request.
Got it.
So then, for them, all I did was push the ball into their court. Seemed like, to say it seemed like something small. To generate a PDF invoice at an individual level and put it in a repository.
Right.
But if you look at the impact.
Right. So in effect, what Ayaz has just described here is this is a very design thinking at its basic, at design thinking 101, if I were to call it that. So this in effect forms the basis of what today it's been touted upon as design thinking, which is nothing but putting your brains to work, getting in all the resources that you have, and coming up with a better solution from what the current one is. Obviously, the current one, there are some loopholes. There are some, as he said, there are some long time, TATs, turnaround times, which is very long, which is not maybe acceptable. But all these things can be worked upon by just putting, number one, common sense, and number two, collective resource thinking onto this.
Absolutely.
And yes, seemingly a small project would have had a long-standing, a large rather, would have made a big difference in the overall scheme of things.
Absolutely. It was such a huge difference. I mean, considering that they wanted an invoice, but turnaround time of 48 hours was cut down to a few minutes.
Right. Yeah. And for the for the vendor as well as for your organization, there would have been a huge impact in a positive way.
Absolutely.
On a lot of many things.
Absolutely. So that was, so that's where I look at, that's where I have worked in majority of my projects.
Mm-hmm.
The projects have been small
Mm-hmm.
in terms of scale,
Right.
but the impact are far-reaching. It's like,
Right.
to summarize, you throw a stone in the water, the stone lands in one spot, but the ripples spread.
Correct. The ripple effect is always there. And in fact, this can be, kind of utilized, or this concept can be followed across any project, however big or small it might be. The secret for success, if I were to use that, would be to break down the project into components, which is more easily manageable, which is more easily doable and executable, which would have a bigger impact on the overall.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Which I guess forms the basis for your agile.
Absolutely. Scrum, agile, whatever it is, just breaking down of larger things into smaller components, easily manageable and doable. Yeah,
absolutely. Folks, I'm sure you would have come across something like this. Feel free to share. We are all ears for you. Bring it on. We would love to listen to what your experiences have been about this. Until then, stay tuned for the next. Thanks and goodbye.